Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for Sunday, May 29th. Now, I think today is significant. I've been paying attention to the phases of the moon, and this is the last quarter of the moon. When we get to the last quarter of our moon, one of the things that comes forth in this cycle of the moon is, okay, so we have the cycle of the new beginning, and then we have that first quarter of the moon, and then we have the full moon, and then we have the last quarter of the moon. They all synchronize. They all are complete. They complete the energy of that cycle of the moon. In the last quarter of the moon, our crop has grown. So we have the new moon. We planted our seeds, and we have the first moon. The first quarter of the moon where it became bountiful, was that a successful harvest. The full moon ending is we clear away the harvest. And then by the time we get to that last quarter of the moon, was that successful? You're contemplative. What do you need to remove? What do you need to do? It's very logical. It's it's a crossroads. It's time to make tough decisions. It's time to add things or take away things. It is, to me, because what you're doing is in that last quarter of the moon, you're trying to get the soil ready again for the brand new beginning, the brand new next moon, the brand new beginning that's involved in the new moon, the following new moon. So you're taking a look at everything and you're like, well, my seeds didn't harvest because, I didn't have the proper irrigation system, and it's going to be a hotter year than I thought, or vice versa. It's really wet and my soil is locked down. It's clay. I need to add some amendments to kind of make sure that the roots don't get saturated and get root rot so that my plants don't grow or they succumb to blight or whatever. So you can tell I'm a gardener because, I love this kind of stuff. So, I'm also talking about it because we have this grand earth trine, and it's very much about the earth cycles. It's very much about this type of mindset. What do we plant? The seeds we plant, do they flourish? Do they grow? Is it the wrong soil? Are we planting things on the wrong soil? That's, I think, what's at the root of the cause? What's at the root of our issues? A plant cannot grow. There are weeds that can grow. There are terrible things that can grow in crappy, poor soil. But if we want something to really flourish and be abundant and give us back what we desire, it has to be on really the ground has to be rich with nutrients and water, and be able to hold enough water but be able to drain it at the same time. It's a very fine process. So we go throughout our lives trying to amend our soil so that everything we plant in it always flourishes. That's our mindset. So today is a beautiful day. The moon in Pisces is going to be conjunct with Neptune in Pisces. This is a very elevated time. It's a very destined time. When we're taking a look at this, when we have Neptune in Pisces, this is where we envision things. When we have Neptune in combination all day with the moon, this is about intuitively. How do we feel? Intuitively, what direction do we need to go? Intuitively, how do we get what we envision? How do we manifest it? And most of the time, some of this is just clean out of our imaginations. There's no ration, there's no logic, but it's intuitively we're being guided. So the positive vibration today is that you may imagine that you can create a better outcome. We need hope. It is very hard when you get in hopeless situations to manifest hope. But when you have this beautiful ordained moment of Neptune and the moon doing a dance side by side, because we are emotionally driven creatures, it is what sets us aside from mammals. And the bottom line is we need to be emotionally motivated to feel hope. We need to be hopeful. That's how we move past this energy. That's how we attach to earth trines. That's how we don't get spun out of control and lost energetically in a grand mutable cross, or a mutable grand cross. Oh my gosh, how many times I have to say that? So You have to envision that you are destined to have what you desire. This cannot be that you are in lack and scarcity. This cannot be that you're looking at your present situation going, this is the shit life that I have, because you're looking at your present and then evaluating your life based on that. No, you need to evaluate your life on what is to come. I buy a house and, it has the worst soil ever. I can amend that. I can add manure. I can add, I can bring in soil if I need to. I can create an irrigation system. It's the imaginative process that gets us to believe that that barren soil can actually generate this gorgeous garden that you have in your head. Like, that is what you are doing right now. It's not about staying stuck here. It's about envisioning something hopeful in the future. I believe that some of you have to be a dreamer today. You will attract an optimistic mindset. If you do, you will have that glorious earth trine bring harmony and peace to your thoughts and really fill you with some hope and some destined fated thoughts, some conversations, some intuitive information that comes to you. You have to let that in. You have to let that energy in. And the way that you let it in is you release energy that is not serving you right now. And what's not serving you is to get lost in this energy, lost in confusion, lost in different directions. You need to focus. You need to harness. It's really cool when you listen to survival stories, and if you listen to them long enough, and I'm obsessed with them. One of the things the commonality that I see in all of them is like people who were in prison camps. They would just, there was this really cool story on 2020 about this man who was in Mexico, and they kidnapped him because they thought he had money, because his wife was an American, and so they thought he had American money. So they kidnap him. They stick him in this box. He's in kind of like a box type environment. They would throw a hose over with cold water every once in a while to bathe him, but he, had feces all over him. And he said the only thing that got him through, and he lived in this box, and he was so emaciated that he almost died. But he lived in this, against these extreme environment with this one hopeful mindset, and that he was going to go home and have his wife's banana pancakes. He just thought of her making banana pancakes for him, because that was a beautiful, hopeful memory. That's what we're doing right now. We're generating hope in a hopeless situation, and we're fixating, and we've got to have, that is what elevated Neptunian energy is all about, a Piscean mindset. They're all about the dream. They're all about the hope. That's why they're so fracking successful. Some of them is because they can envision something and manifest it from their imaginations. So I believe that some of you have to imagine something that is not there, if that's what you have to do to get through this energy. I believe that, there's also some interesting energy. Saturn is squaring off with Neptune, squaring off with Jupiter, squaring off with the North Node, and squaring off with the Moon. So Saturn will keep you grounded and realistic. These things that you envision are not going to be just, life is a butterfly, everything is wonderful, and let's go do drugs and have some alcohol, or obsessively work, or obsessively eat, or excessively sleep, or whatever. It's not about this. Saturn is like, no, control it. Structure, discipline. You wanted that? How do you get it? It's like that beautiful dance between reality and non-reality. It's like you need these conversations to get you what you want. It has to be built on something that's realistic and logical. I think that this will ground your energies, or your dreams energy. We got to stay realistic. If you want to make a dream a reality, it has to be based somewhat on reality. Like, I want Gerard Butler, but the reality is never going to happen. So I'm completely enjoying somebody that realistically I love. That's beautiful, and I love him with all my heart. So I get that. The reality is, you know, my ideal is Gerard, and my reality is this beautiful person here that I'm really enjoying. Like, and I don't feel lost that I don't have this ideal world because I have the real world and the real world experience. So I think we're trying to merge those two mindsets, ideal versus what can I really attain in life. I think that this is, I think that this will help us be much more wise about what we attach to. I believe that it resets our expectations. I believe that it reveals areas in our life where we're completely unrealistic, where we've become lost a little bit in our perspectives. So today is significant because I think that because this last quarter of the moon, I think that you feel like you are being intuitively guided at this point. I believe that many of you know there's a feeling, there's a calling, there's a deep, compelling thought that you're having. And I believe that some of you are being guided to release your ego and to become compassionate to those less fortunate. If you are in the most elevated form of this energy, then you want to help. You want to be there. You want to be compassionate. It's not about judging. It's not about that person's this way, and it's not it. That's releasing ego. When you release your ego, you release judgment. And then you start to just really get at the point of like the Neptune's point of just love and compassion for all. Like, and I know that's hard because the reality is we've been hurt also. But you know, if you're really caught in this mindset, you're going to attach to the right energy. I believe that today with the Moon in Pisces squaring the Sun and squaring Venus, I believe that when the Sun and the Moon square off, there's bound to be a question that arises about what you desire on an emotional level moving forward. You are going to have a conversation with yourself. What do I desire? And then how does it emotionally make me feel about it? Like, you have to have this conversation. This is the reality of the situation. What do I envision? What do I want? What do I desire? Well, how do I emotionally feel about these things? It has to be this merge. It can't just be all of this rational logic. It has to be intuitively guided, and there has to be a feeling to support this logical choice. Logically, I believe that people can save themselves, but is it realistic at this time for me to get involved? Like, you have to have these conversations. Or, I want this, deeply want this, and this would bring me a lot of pleasure, but you know what? Is it the right timing? Intuitively, do I feel like it's the right time to release and embark on this new journey, this fated path that I kind of feel compelled to? Does it make sense? Is it rational? I'm going to have lots of questions. This is an internal process, a deeply internal day. I believe that the final quarter of a moon can signify a crossroad, again, that tough decision, that realization. This is the energy that the day boils down to. And I think that it's so you can clear your energy to receive the new moon's blessings. Remember, we're getting ready for the new moon. So just be a receiver. You can receive very easily in this energy. Whenever you have this much Piscean energy, it's a giant conduit filling your soul with the ability to receive divine guidance. If you open yourself, even if you believe, you have to believe. You have to see more. You have to see more than the reality. Very smart, logical people can't embrace the belief system that there is something out there besides logic and reason. But for some of you who are very, very elevated and have been awakened in this environment, you're going to be a giant conduit, a receiver. It's going to feel amazing. It's definitely a day that I think reveals what we need to see. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching Annette's Astrology Corner, and I look forward to talking to you guys again tomorrow.